In the deep, foreboding woods of the northern wilderness, 3 friends embarked on an ill-fated adventure. Daniel, Sean, and Mike, bold and fearless, believed that their knowledge of the wild could conquer any challenge. But they were about to encounter a terror beyond their wildest nightmares. The chill of the forest gnawed at their bones as they ventured deeper into uncharted territory. The towering trees loomed overhead, blocking out the moonlight, and the dense underbrush seemed to claw at their legs with each step. Despite their unease, the 3 friends pressed on, their laughter and bravado echoing through the silent woods. It was on the 3rd night of their journey that they made their first ominous discovery, a set of tracks unlike any they had ever seen. The prints were large and misshapen, with elongated toes that seemed to end in deadly claws. "What the hell makes tracks like these?" Sean asked, his voice quivering despite his attempts to sound brave. Daniel, the self-proclaimed expert, examined the prints and offered a shaky explanation. "Must be some kind of deformed bear or wolf. Nothing to worry about." Mike, the most skeptical of the group, wasn't so easily convinced. "Deformed bear? That doesn't make any sense. Whatever it is, we should keep our guard up." But as night fell, they brushed off their fears and set up camp in a small clearing. The crackling fire provided some comfort, its warm glow pushing back the oppressive darkness. They shared stories and laughter, convincing themselves that the strange tracks were nothing more than a curiosity. But deep in the shadows, something watched them. It was a creature born of the darkest legends, a Wendigo, a ravenous entity that hungered for human flesh. Its emaciated form moved silently through the trees, its yellow eyes locked onto the unsuspecting trio. As the night wore on, a cold wind swept through the forest, extinguishing the campfire. The sudden darkness sent shivers down their spines, and their laughter faded into nervous whispers. Then they heard it, a distant, mournful cry that sent a chill through their hearts. It was a sound like no other, a mixture of human and animal, echoing through the trees. The 3 friends huddled together, their faces pale with fear. "What was that?" Daniel whispered, his voice trembling. "I told you something was out here," Mike muttered, his skepticism replaced by dread. Sean, the most superstitious of the group, spoke in a hushed voice. "It's a Wendigo. I heard stories from my grandfather about these creatures." They listened intently, their ears straining to pick up any sound. But all they heard was the distant rustling of leaves and the eerie silence of the forest. Just as they began to think it had been a trick of their imagination, a twig snapped behind them. They turned, their flashlights revealing a shadowy figure standing at the edge of the clearing. It was the Wendigo, a grotesque, emaciated creature with elongated limbs and hollow, hungry eyes. Its mouth stretched wide in a grotesque grin, revealing rows of sharp, yellowed teeth. With a horrifying screech, it lunged forward, its speed defying nature. The friends barely had time to react. Sean was the first to fall, the Wendigo's claws tearing into his flesh. Daniel and Mike scrambled to their feet, desperate to escape, but the creature was relentless. In their frantic flight through the dark woods, the friends became separated. Daniel could hear Mike's screams in the distance, and he knew his friend had met the same gruesome fate as Sean. But he couldn't stop. Fear and adrenaline propelled him forward, deeper into the wilderness. For hours, Daniel stumbled through the woods, his mind a haze of terror. But no matter how far he ran, the Wendigo was always just behind him, its chilling presence a constant reminder of his impending doom. Finally, exhausted and broken, Daniel collapsed at the edge of a freezing river. He knew he couldn't run any longer. With the Wendigo closing in, he had only one option left. As the creature lunged at him one final time, Daniel plunged into the icy water, hoping that the river would carry him to safety. But the Wendigo was not so easily deterred. It followed him into the frigid depths, its hungry eyes fixed on its prey. In the end, the river claimed them both, swallowing their screams and their struggle. The forest remained silent once more, the secrets of its darkest corners hidden from the world. The Wendigo had feasted on the flesh of the intruders, and the legend of its insatiable hunger lived on, a warning to all who dared to enter its territory.